Hey everyone, welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe, and I'm bringing you continued coverage of Hurricane Elaine in Hawaii, as there was a fire last night in Maui. There's flooding all over Hawaii, and just lots to update you guys on. But right now, I actually have a live feed from KHON, one of the local affiliates in Hawaii, and some Hawaiian officials are giving updates, so I'm going to share that with you guys.
Landslides, we may have mudslides, we may have road closures. The strong winds may create problems, trees falling, areas being blocked off because of debris. And we're also very much concerned about high surf being generated and inundating some of our roadways. Now, I'm also going to caution in a lot of the areas that were once wetland areas or are in the downhill portion of the gulches, we can have situations where it's raining at the higher levels and much more massive amounts of water than you would expect in your area can get to those areas. So be very careful if you're in areas prone to flooding, or if you're at the ocean side of a gulch that goes all the way up to the mountain. You may see exceedingly high levels of water that are not normal. Okay? Again, this is one of the more severe storms at this point that we've had in as long as I can remember. I can't remember a hurricane that is directly toward us that has not veered off, but really coming toward us in my lifetime. So the impacts, I hope, will dissipate, but we have to plan for the inevitability that something may occur. There are going to be many instances that are going to happen where we're going to have to react to situations such as the fire. Nobody could have predicted we were going to get 3 fires last night, and we had to deal with the fact that we couldn't fly the helicopters to be able to do water drops because of the severity of the wind. But we're dealing with it. So I want everybody to relax a little bit, stay at home, shelter in place, at least for a day or two, until we get an all clear that the hurricane is past. But be very careful during that time. I'm going to ask Maui Electric if you have come up, and they can explain what they're doing with the power outages and how they've been handling it. They've been doing a very good job reconnecting a lot of it. You want to come up?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank the community and our partners, the County of Maui, the organizations at the Emergency Operations Center for working with us. Safety is our #1 concern at Maui Electric. Safety. Hi, Sharon Suzuki, President Maui Electric. Safety is our #1 concern at Maui Electric. It's safety of our community, the public, first responders, and of course our crews. So to that end, right now, as of 1 o'clock, before this press conference, we had 6,000 total customers that were without power, 4,000 in West Maui, and another 2,000 on Molokai. Our crews have responded thanks to coordinating with the police to get our crews and contractors out to West Maui. They're working on restoring 2 cracked poles in the Pukolii area. We also had crews on Molokai responding, and they already restored about 800 customers from earlier in the day. We also still have some pocket outages in the upcountry area, so thank you for your patience. For those out there, if you are experiencing an outage, please call our trouble line, because sometimes a whole circuit may go out, we bring it back on, but there still may be isolated outages on that same circuit. So please give us a call so we can address your specific needs. We are prepared. We have stood up our incident management team as of 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. It's a 24/7 operation. So we have someone, liaison representative here at the Maui Emergency Operations Center 24/7. We have also arranged in advance through our Hawaiian Electric family of companies, Hawaiian Electric on Oahu and Hawaii Electric Light, to coordinate our responses and make sure each company has the resources that they need. We've also arranged for aid from an organization called Western Region Mutual Aid Association. And of course, through the state emergency management agency, we have representatives from our Hawaiian Electric company there with the state and the city and county of Honolulu. Thank you again for everyone's patience and understanding. We do work as quickly but safely as possible to restore power so you can enjoy the conveniences in your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharon, and I apologize for not introducing you properly. Herman Andaya, who is heading up our EOC, is now going to make a presentation and answer most of the questions that you may have, which is occurring at EOC. Thank you. Herman?
Good afternoon. My name is Herman Andaya. I am the administrator of the Maui Emergency Management Agency. This morning we had a fire, as you know, brush fire, and right now at the Emergency Operating Center, we're working 24 hours, and when this came up early this morning, it kind of threw us a little curveball. We've increased our operational tempo, and as a result, we were able to manage both the fire incident as well as plan for the hurricane that was coming. There are a number of assets that has been sent here to Maui, and we are very thankful to FEMA for sending FEMA supplies, including generators and MREs. We have also had FEMA personnel arrive on Maui, and they are working at the EOC. Also, a 35-man team of the Swift Water Rescue Team was sent here to Maui as well, and they are at the EOC ready to be deployed. Also this morning, we had some personnel from HAIMA, including Luke Myers, the new executive officer of HAIMA, and he was here this morning and saw our operations and was satisfied and impressed, actually. And so he felt that everything was in order. He felt that we were operating properly, and so he felt that we were okay. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Just summarize again, we have not dodged the bullet in the hurricane at this point. It's still a hurricane category 2. It's still heading our way. We still have potential for very strong winds, heavy rains, and high surf. So I'm asking everyone in the community to bear with us. It's one of those roller coaster rides that we have to go through in dealing with all the different situations that are coming up. We already have seen many significant areas where we've had damage that we've had to be able to correct. So don't assume that everything is okay, because it's not okay until after we get the all. News coverage that we're getting to be able to get the message out. Thank you. Questions?
I have a question regarding the fire in Lahaina. I know that they're still assessing the damage, but is there a more accurate estimate of the number of homes or structures that were burned? And how many homes or households were actually evacuated? I've heard varying different, numbers.
So as far as the number of homes or structures that were affected, 7. From moderate to completely destroyed. And I'm sorry, I don't have the number on the amount of people evacuated.
It's 7, and can you tell us what neighborhoods or what communities? Is that all in Lahaina?
No, it was more just south of Hokiokio. I'm sorry, yeah, south of Hokiokio, kind of in the by Kapunakea area.
This is just the area just before Lahaina up on the hill.
What about the areas off of Lahaina Luna Road? Does that include that as well?
It did affect that area, but as far as I know, none of the homes there were affected.
Can you talk about Lahaina Luna High School? Because looking up, we passed by, it looks like, smoke
It's
around.
there?
I know there have been rumors. We
Yeah.
drove up there. It seemed like most of the buildings weren't affected, but can you just confirm that for folks?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. We've had a lot of people saying that that was burned and that the gas station near there exploded. None of that occurred. That is still intact. It was not affected by the fire in the gas station as well.
And confirm that it was 3 separate fires, so not just 2, so 3. And
That's correct. There was one in Ma'alaya, and then the other 2 fires started separately, but due to the intense conditions, pretty much joined.
As far as injuries, we received reports that one woman was injured, burns to the arms and legs, and was evacuated for medical attention, I guess, to Oahu. Any other injuries from the fire?
As far as I know, that is the only injury.
And in terms of cause, are these weather related, I assume, down power lines, something along those lines?
Right now, we do not know the cause of any of the fires.
Any firefighters report of any injuries at all?
So far, no reports of any firefighters injured.
Getting back to Lahaina Luna and that Aloha gas station, we were there as well, and we saw that, the fire did come dangerously close. It looked just a couple of feet away. Was that just luck, or was that a strategy that you guys did to prevent it from getting, into those structures?
Yeah. So this incident has been ongoing. I haven't had a chance to actually gather very much information. It's with the winds and with us not being able to use Air 1 and with the amount of fire, gathering that kind of information I just don't have for you at this time. Like I said, one of them is still only 40% contained, and it's very active. They're still fighting it. So as that information becomes available, I'll get that to you. Thank you.
Can you go over the acreage again, without the fires?
800 in the Kahanapali area and 1,500 on the other one, and I believe 30 acres Ma'alaya.
I'm not sure if you can answer this, but it's obvious, in addition to power being out, cell service there is kind of non-existent. Is there any word on when or how long that will be fixed?
We were just told before this that the cell service line was repaired. It's still on the ground, but it's repaired, it's usable. Okay, so after the storm passes, then they'll put it back up on the pole. But currently, cell service is available.
People in Lahaina can make calls and receive calls.
As far as I've been told, yes.
It's a Hawaiian cell question. We don't have a representative here.
Well, that's what they reported to us. Okay.
Anybody else?
As far as the water drops, getting back to the fire, I know Air 1 couldn't be activated, but you guys put a call out to any departments with like bigger airplanes or helicopters for massive water.
In our meeting with the governor and with civil defense, the statewide, we did reach out to them and explain to them that we were having problems with airdrops. They also could not fly their helicopters because it was just too dangerous. We're looking at winds of about 48 miles an hour plus or minus, and it was just too extreme to be able to get water airdrops. That's why we didn't do it. Okay, we'd love to have been able to do it, but we couldn't do it.
And Mayor, in terms of weather damage, weather effect on the island, where has the island been most affected so far? Would that be the Hana area, or?
The most affected so far is East Maui, the Hana area, wrapping around the backside. That's where the most severe flooding has been. But it really depends on how you want to categorize what is the most affected. It could very much be assumed that the fires that are occurring in Lahaina are weather related as well. So it really depends on how you want to categorize it. We had downed trees in different areas. We have to close the roads for public in various areas. I would rather not say any one area is being the most affected, but rather we have a pretty much broad beam of affected areas throughout our county. We have down power lines, so having to fix the electric lines and getting service back up to the community. Those kind of things are pretty much universal depending on the situation in the different areas, not necessarily just because of heavy rains or heavy winds.
Mayor, can you talk about the shelters, and more specifically the shelters in Lahaina? I know you folks had moved, the folks that were staying at Lahaina. Now we've heard there are hundreds now. Are you planning to open another shelter to accommodate those who are affected by the fire?
The shelters have been a very, very tricky problem for us. We had to move the shelters initially because of the fire on Lahaina Luna Road over to the Civic Center. And then when the second fire occurred above the Civic Center, we were looking at perhaps moving it again. But with the fire department being able to manage the fire situation and keep the fire away from the Civic Center, we are now at the Civic Center. If we need to be able to establish more shelters, we will. However, the people that were evacuated initially are being allowed now to go home to some of the houses because the fire is no longer in that area. Then those people that were in the shelter will sort of leave the shelter and leave more space as we need it. So we're really going to have to decide as the situation occurs. If there's an overwhelming need to be able to do shelters, we'll open up more. If not, we'll let the shelter we have suffice.
And the count for all the Maui County shelters?
Remember, what was the count? It was a very varying count, Swai.
Yeah, it was over 600.
We had, again, people going in and out for different reasons. We had over 600 count at some point. In Lahaina, official counts were somewhere between 300 and 500, depending on whether they were inside or outside the area. But there are a lot of people that are going to the shelters. 100 households were evacuated, so you know those are a lot of people.
And Mayor, you kind of touched on it, but with yesterday being in a lot of ways a weather lull, are you concerned that people may have or may be about to let their guard down?
Absolutely. You know, we're very concerned that Central Maui has been really nice, not a whole lot of flooding, not a whole lot of wind. People will start thinking, hey, you know, this is just another one of those false alarms. We don't have to worry about it. Again, Hurricane Elaine is headed directly for us at this point. It has not veered off course. It is a Category 2 hurricane. You know, and even a Category 1 is still a hurricane. It's not downgraded to a tropical storm. So it can put some very, very strong winds, very, very heavy rains, and drive some very high surf. We don't want anyone thinking that it's all done. That would be a very, very false premise at this point.
Anything else, guys?
No.
Let me just give a
Go
list
ahead.
of shelters. I know there's a question earlier about shelters, and so specifically the ones on the west side. And so if I can just give you a list, there's a shelter at the Lahaina Civic Center. And then as far as the non-Red Cross shelters, we have the Hyatt Regency, who graciously offered their ballroom. However, that's already full, so it's now closed. We have the Lahaina Christian Church, Kahului Nazarene, Grace Bible, and then also there's other churches as well that's available.
Just to confirm, at its peak, all across the county, about there's 500 individuals that checked into
The
shelters.
Red Cross count.
More than 600. More than 600 has been.
And I want to point out that a lot of the churches, they're volunteering, so we don't have accurate counts coming off of those that are volunteering to have shelters. Okay. So what we're looking at is the official counts through the Red Cross. Any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you very much. And that will conclude our press conference.
Oh, guys.
If any of you have any questions specific to any of the people that we have here, they're available. You can ask them the questions before they disappear.
Okay, no questions. Good.
Yep.
So you guys saw that update from Hawaiian officials. Thank you so much for tuning in. And sorry to have that graphic come up again. Gonna delete that real quick. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through some different radars with you guys. And I am going to share with you guys some articles, just the effects of Hurricane Lane so far. Even though it hasn't hit land, you could hear the officials say they're still expecting it to head towards them. It is not veering off course. So I'm going to pull up some information right now for you guys. Okay, and I wanted to give a shout out and thank everyone who is over here in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining our fantastic moderators that are here that really regulate the chat. Make sure everything's clean. Make sure everyone's comments are clean. And thank you guys so much for keeping things appropriate. Really appreciate each and every single one of you. And I'm going to show you back over on this feed, there is an updated live radar of Hurricane Lane. And I believe this is from the National Weather Service. And you can see just how it's moving northwest of where it started. And I'm also going to share with you guys some information about the brush fire last night in Maui that Hurricane Lane caused, and many people had to evacuate their homes. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up real quick about the brush fire. I'm going to leave this radar up for a second just so you guys are able to see where exactly it's going. So this is from ABC 7. So a brush fire threatens homes in Maui as Hurricane Lane downgrades to a Category 2 hurricane. And I'm going to pull up a video of that for you guys real quick.
Computer models
could see just how bad that brush fire was. I'm going to pull up some information about it for you guys. It was fueled by the winds from Hurricane Lane. And this is actually from last night, and wanted to shout out over here on YouTube. We got a $20 donation from Ray Chin. Thank you so much, Ray. Really appreciate you and all that you do for us. That'll be super helpful for us to get to the rally next week, next Thursday in Evansville, Indiana. Thank you so much, Ray. So in Maui, there are 2 brush fires being fueled by the strong winds. And on the Big Island, people were helping others evacuate as Hurricane Lane unleashed torrential rain, producing major flooding. And as predicted, landslides have already threatened to do more damage. And power outages affected about 4,000 customers on the Big Island. So according to the Red Cross, more than 1,500 people spent the night in 36 shelters on the island. And the mayor of Maui, Alan Arakawa, said, "We haven't really faced a hurricane of this magnitude as far as I can remember." And then in the morning hours, a new threat emerged in Maui. Brush fires starting in Lahaina and moving up the west side of the island. The winds from the hurricane and dry conditions were fueling these fires. And I'm going to make sure I have the YouTube chat over here as well to make sure I don't miss any of your comments. Make sure I have the Facebook chat open. Okay, so I will be checking that throughout the night just to make sure I don't miss any of your comments. So then in the morning hours, just this morning, a new threat emerged in Maui. Brush fires starting in Lahaina and moving up the west side of the island. The winds from the hurricane and dry conditions were fueling these fires. Wow, so wanted to thank you, Kay Stewin over on YouTube just gave us a huge donation, 200 Norwegian krones. Thank you so much for that, or NOKs. That's definitely a new one. Thank you, Kay Stewin. Really appreciate you and your donation. And I just checked, it's $24. Thank you so much. Okay, so ABC7 meteorologist Mike Nico says as the hurricane comes closer to Maui, those winds will pick up. He said a hurricane is coming. The last thing you want is rain because you know there's going to be flooding. You've already seen the flooding on Big Island, and that's what's coming. But to help out that fire, you could use some rain, and so far they haven't seen much. And I'm going to show you guys a variety of pictures tonight too of Hurricane Lane soaking Hawaii. And you can see this car just basically halfway underwater. And the view from space of Hurricane Lane. and people boarding up their homes in Hawaii to protect them. And signs that they are closing their businesses. And then putting down sandbags to secure their homes, their businesses. And then people grocery shopping, just getting ready to stay home all weekend. And I'm going to go back to the fire, try to get a better picture for you guys. So one woman was treated for burns, and some residents in Kanapali and Lahaina were evacuated, including former Bay Area news photographer Don McQuagg, and he lives near the area where the fire is now spreading in Kanapali hillside, and shared video of the blaze. He said the fire is literally going horizontally. They have evacuated everybody out. Our street is being evacuated. And according to the mayor of Maui, the strong winds have prevented crews from using the fire department's helicopter to drop water on the fires. Okay, and real quick, I'm going to throw up my Twitter handle. If you are in Hawaii and you have dealt with this, first of all, I wanted to say I'm so sorry, and my thoughts and prayers are with you, but also would love to share what you're seeing. If you have any pictures, any videos of the weather, the damage, please send it to me at Alyssa RSBN. Or maybe if you're not there and you just find an interesting article about it that I may not have shared yet, please send it to me over on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN. Really appreciate that. And I'm going to, throughout the night, check Twitter too, just to see what people and verified sources are posting as well, just so we can get the most up-to-date information. So stay tuned. And I'm checking our feeds again just to make sure there's nothing new. And President Trump did send out a new tweet about Hawaii, so I'm going to share that with you guys. Okay, and it is a picture of him on the phone. He says, I spoke with Governor David Ige of Hawaii today to express our full support for the people of Hawaii as the state is impacted by Hurricane Elaine. The federal government is fully committed to helping the people of Hawaii. And as I shared with you guys earlier at the last Hurricane Elaine broadcast, FEMA is already out there with supplies, just getting ready to help people, already helping people and rescuing those. There were 5 people, that Californian tourists that were just there for vacation, that were rescued, and there were another 6 and a dog, I believe, that were rescued from their home. So I'm going to try to find that for you too. And I'm going to switch back over to the radar just so that you can keep an eye on that. And some new information from CBS News. So Hurricane Elaine barreled toward Hawaii on Friday, dumping torrential rains that inundated the Big Island's main city. Residents elsewhere stocked up on supplies and piled sandbags to shield oceanfront businesses against the increasingly violent surf. The storm had maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour and was moving at a pace of just 5 miles per hour, the Central Pacific Hurricane Center said in its 5 p.m. Eastern Time advisory. And the city of Hilo, population 43,000 people, was flooded with waist-high water. The National Guard and firefighters rescued 6 people and a dog from a flooded home. 5 tourists from California were rescued from another home. There's so much rain, the drainage is all saturated, said Hawaii County Managing Director Will Okabe. We're just letting nature take its course, getting water down to the ocean and responding to any rescues. And the Category 2 storm was expected to turn west on Saturday before reaching the islands and skirting Oahu, the state's most populated island. And even without making a direct hit, forecasters said the system threatened to bring a huge storm surge, high wind, and heavy rain. In early Friday morning, a brush fire on the island of Maui forced a hurricane shelter to evacuate in Lahaina. The flames spread to 300 acres, and officials said a woman who was burned in the hands and legs was flown to Honolulu. Also, a Big Island resident said he was trapped inside his home today in an exclusive neighborhood with million-dollar homes. Joel Lawson, who lives in Hilo, said he can't get out because there's a river at the end of our driveway. And Lawson heard what sounded like bricks falling Thursday night. It turned out to be strong water that made the pavement actually peel up and left a gaping hole. He said he watched as firefighters use ropes to pull out 2 people trapped in a car that got stuck in the hole. And authorities knocked on his door and said he should voluntarily evacuate, but he's staying put because he has electricity and food. So officials are saying that the damage is potentially catastrophic. With rain pounding Hawaii's Big Island, officials who have seen the damage call it potentially catastrophic. Inside one home in Hilo, there appeared to be a waterfall cascading down the stairwell, according to CBS News' Mireya Villarreal. So Hurricane Elaine was moving so slowly that band after band of torrential downpours were continuing to lash the Big Island on Friday. The storm was heading directly towards Hawaii's most populated islands of Oahu and Maui. And on Waikiki, tourists were being warned to stay out of the water. So a new threat was also coming from tropical force winds that were pushing a large wildfire on Maui near Lahaina. 5 inches of rain were in the forecast Friday night, but until it falls, there's little to stop the fire. So Hawaii health officials also warned that Hurricane Elaine has caused storm water runoff to enter the ocean, posing possible health threats to swimmers and surfers. So the State Department of Health issued a statewide advisory Friday about brown water, and officials warned the public to stay out of floodwaters and storm water runoff because of possible overflowing cesspools, sewers, and manholes, along with chemicals, pesticides, and dead animals from flood debris. And they say if the water is brown, stay out. Dozens of people are still swimming and surfing off the framed Waikiki Beach in Honolulu, despite police or fire vehicles blasting out periodic warnings that the beach is closed and everyone needs to leave. So U.S. officials are also preparing for severe flooding as the hurricane hits Hawaii. 3 urban search and rescue teams are in the state, and there's also food for up to 6 days and at least 680 generators, with more available after the storm clears, according to FEMA. So FEMA also plans to move supplies to the islands hit hardest after the storm. It said about 2,000 people are in the shelters, mostly in Oahu. And the agency is also tracking the brush fire in Maui that forced people to evacuate a storm shelter, and said dozens of Coast Guard ships and helicopters on the island are ready to assist. So it's unclear what caused the fire, which ignited as rain and wind lashed the island, causing it to spread. Also, about 6,000 customers in Maui's Lahaina community have lost power, though some have it restored, according to Hawaiian Electric spokesperson Peter Reseg. So nearly 2,600 customers are without power on Molokai, a small island with about 7,000 residents. And Reseg said they may be without it for a long time. Power outages affected about 4,000 people on the Big Island, which has seen nearly 3 feet of rain over 2 days. And more than 3,000 lost power on Oahu as strong winds downed tree branches, but most of them had service quickly restored. And Reseg said crews are trying to restore power to as many as possible before the worst of the storm hits the state's most populated island. And he said workers will be out until it's no longer safe. So the hurricane is also taking a toll on Hawaii's Big Island, with 3 major roads closed due to flash flooding, according to officials. And officials said early Friday morning local time that only one highway was available for travel across the island. Numerous secondary roads were also closed, and multiple landslides could force more closures as rain pounds on the island. More than 30 inches of rain associated with the hurricane had fallen on the Big Island as of early Friday, with some areas recording 35 inches in just 48 hours. And like I showed you guys earlier, a brush fire on Hawaii's island of Maui has forced the relocation of a shelter for people who were staying there as Hurricane Lane approaches. And Maui County officials said there was a rapidly spreading fire in the community of Lahaina Friday on the island's western side, and nearby residents were being evacuated. So officials, as a precaution, moved 26 people who evacuated because of the hurricane from a shelter at Lahaina School to a civic center. And Maui County spokesman Rod Antone said it's not clear if the fire is hurricane related. So Friday morning, the islands of Oahu and Maui remained under a hurricane warning, while Kauai was under a hurricane watch. Kauai, I'm sorry. So the hurricane warning for the Big Island has been dropped, and the island is now under a tropical storm warning. But according to the officials that we just watched, it is still under a hurricane warning. So CBS Honolulu affiliate KGMB reports heavy rains that started late Wednesday have triggered widespread flooding and evacuations on the Big Island and have closed off several main thoroughfares. So also there was a FEMA briefing that I showed you guys this morning, if you tuned in to that coverage, where officials from FEMA and the National Weather Service held a briefing about the hurricane response in Washington Friday morning. And FEMA Administrator Brock Long said, "Please heed the warnings. It's very dangerous to be outside. Bottom line is we're going to see torrential rains that could occur for the next 48 to 72 hours. and he warned that it will be a marathon. And he also said the Big Island in Hawaii counties received in some cases 2 feet of rain already, and unfortunately there's more to come. So the Weather Service said Lane was centered about 160 miles southwest of Kona on Hawaii's Big Island. And meteorologist Steve Goldstein said its track is expected to continue through the day before turning west on Saturday. And Lane will remain at hurricane strength, dangerously close to Hawaii through the day, Friday and Saturday, while heavy rainfall and flooding will continue even after the eye of the storm passes. And according to Red Cross officials, 1,500 people spent the night in a shelter last night as they waited out the storm. The largest number sought shelter in Oahu, where 20 shelters hosted about 1,100 people overnight. So the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency says public schools can serve as shelters, but most are not strong enough to withstand hurricane force winds. And authorities are evaluating which school facilities are strong enough and in safe areas. And the monster storm is expected to bring torrential rains to island communities. That was exactly what the Big Island saw through much of the day Thursday. So heavy rains that started late Wednesday on the island triggered widespread flooding and evacuations and closed several main thoroughfares. So over the course of the day Thursday, several communities had already seen more than a foot of rain, and Waikea saw more than 23 inches, while Hakula saw over 2.5 feet. And Saddle Road above Hilo was inundated with water, and officials with the Hawaii Department of Transportation recorded water levels 2 to 3 feet deep. So despite the severe weather conditions on Big Island, only 14 residents opted to stay in state shelters, according to a count Thursday night from officials with the Red Cross. So a flash flood warning remains in effect for the Big Island, and forecasters said the water levels on Wailuku River rose to an incredible 7 feet between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. So emergency crews also, like I mentioned earlier, rescued 5 Californian tourists from a home they were renting in Hilo after a nearby gulch overflowed and it flooded Thursday. And Suzanne Demarius said a tiny waterfall and small stream flowed near the home when she first arrived with 4 of her friends from the Los Angeles area. But the stream turned into a torrent and the river rose rapidly over 24 hours. And Hawaii County firefighters, who were in touch with the home's owner, decided to evacuate the group before the water rose further. They floated the 5 out on their backs, Demarius said. So as Hurricane Lane continued to trudge along late Thursday into Friday, its slow pace was emerging as the biggest concern. And the Central Pacific Hurricane Center in Honolulu said excessive rainfall associated with this slow-moving hurricane will continue to impact the Hawaiian Islands into the weekend, leading to significant and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides. And they said Lane is expected to produce total rain accumulations of 10 to 20 inches with localized amounts of 30 to 40 inches possible over portions of the Hawaiian Islands. Over 2 feet of rain has already fallen at a few locations on the windward side of the Big Island. So according to the center, as of 11 p.m. Thursday local time, Lane was about 215 miles south of Honolulu and 165 miles southwest of Kailua Kona, moving north at 6 miles per hour. And maximum sustained winds were almost 120 miles per hour with higher gusts. So the center said on the latest forecast track, the center of Elaine will move over or dangerously close to portions of the main Hawaiian Islands late Friday and Friday night. Some weakening is forecast from Friday through late Saturday, but Elaine is expected to remain a hurricane as it approaches the islands. And hurricane force winds were extending outward of up to 35 miles from Elaine's center, and tropical storm force winds extended outward up to 125 miles. So also forecasters are saying that Elaine's current track has the storm coming perilously close the main Hawaiian Islands Thursday into Friday as a hurricane, CBS Honolulu affiliate KGMB reports. And in addition to downpours, the hurricane is pushing up wave heights and could mean strong winds. Governor David Ige, in a news conference on Thursday, said Hurricane Elaine is still a dangerous and powerful storm. And Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell said Elaine, while it's been downgraded, is wide and very moist, and it's going to hang around for a while. And I'm going to keep checking this Facebook chat over here just to make sure you guys don't have any questions. Thank you so much to all those that say you are praying for the people of Hawaii. Really appreciate that. Kathy Hook said, thinking of friends in Kona. Hospitals are also preparing for a surge in patients. So Hawaii's hospitals prepared for a surge in patients as Elaine neared, according to CBS Honolulu affiliate KGMB. And the director of Hawaii's Department of Health told KGMB that having enough hospital space in case of a huge influx is a major challenge. And Bruce Anderson, the director of the Hawaii Department of Health, said basically our healthcare system is very fragile in that respect. Our hospitals are full. They can't afford to keep beds open for people in the event of storms like this. Fortunately, in this case, we actually have a federal agency that sent 2 teams here, 30 people on each team, with resources to help support establishing medical facilities if need be. So the Queens Medical Center and its West Oahu facility postponed all elective procedures and surgeries on Friday and Saturday, and the hospitals are stocked up with supplies and the generators are ready. Employees have gone through training to deal with natural disasters or any influx of patients. And great question. Chanel over on YouTube said, what can we do to help our fellow Americans in Hawaii? I am going to find out real quick if there are any pages. So it looks like you can donate on the Red Cross or the Salvation Army website. And so I'm going to share both of those links. Here is that Red Cross link. Gonna make sure it works real quick before I share it with you. Okay. Here's that Red Cross link. And get the Salvation Army one too. Okay, hopefully those will both work for you guys. And I know someone was commenting on YouTube about me saying you guys. It's because I was born in Pittsburgh and everyone there says yins. So you guys is just stuck in my brain. Even though in the South, everyone here says y'all. I never caught on to that. And let me see if there are any other ways to help Hurricane Lane victims. Trying to find an updated one. There's one on AccuWeather, but that's Hurricane Maria, not Hurricane Lane. So we're not going to do that one. But I'm going to finish off this article. So the Queens Medical Center and its West Oahu facility postponed all elective procedures and surgeries on Friday and Saturday, according to KGMB. And the hospitals are stocked up with supplies and the generators are ready. And employees have gone through training to deal with natural disasters or any large influx of patients. So Dr. Leslie Chun, the chief medical officer at the Queens Medical Center, said we're a level 1 trauma center, the only one in the state, and we're really prepared for that. Then there's, after the event, if it's really catastrophic, you see things such as dehydration, exhaustion, infections. So Windward Oahu Adventist Health Castle on Oahu said it activated its 24/7 incident command center and has supplies ready for staff and patients. Other area hospitals also said they were ready if needed. And kind of backing up, I know some of you over here on YouTube are saying that it's a Category 1 hurricane now. So I'm going to check on that. But DW Bigley, I know you're one that commented that. Comment your source here in the YouTube chat. That would be super helpful so that I can look into it. So some sources are saying it's a Category 2. Some sources are saying it's a Category 1. Okay, and I am going to check over on Twitter. We're going to do a search and just get some updates from people that are actually there in the middle of it. Okay, so we're going to go to latest. So I got an update from the British Patriot 2. Thank you so much for this. This is the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. They are deeming it a Category 1 on the Saffir-Simpson wind scale, with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. Okay, and I'm going to go through Twitter with you guys just to see what else is going on. Ricky Lee was live streaming lots of rain from his balcony. I'm going to play it for you without the Hawaiian music there. But you can just see the clouds. So here is an updated article from Reuters, updated just 16 minutes ago. Hurricane Elaine weakens further as it drenches Hawaii's Big Island. So Hurricane Elaine crept closer toward the heart of the Hawaiian Islands on Friday as it weakened into a Category 1 storm while still drenching the Big Island with torrential rains and severe widespread flooding, weather and civil defense officials said. So the storm, with sustained winds reaching 85 miles per hour, was forecast to make its nearest approach to land just west of the island chain over the weekend, bringing hurricane conditions to Maui and the U.S. state's most populous island, Oahu, starting Friday night. So farther north, a tropical storm watch was posted of the island of Kauai. So Chief Brock Long wrote on Twitter, "If you're in Hawaii, it's critical you heed the warnings of local officials and stay aware of your surroundings." But by midday, forecasts made it clear that Hawaii had been spared from the threat of its first direct hit by a major hurricane in a quarter century. And Elaine was downgraded on Friday to a Category 2, then to a Category 1, the lowest ranking on the 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale, as it churned through the Pacific about 120 miles south of Oahu, according to the National Weather Service. So the storm was expected to continue tracking slowly northward and weaken over the next 12 hours before trade winds begin pushing it sharply off to the west and away from land on Saturday. Still, the storm posed a considerable weather hazard to some of the state, with the Big Island bearing the brunt of torrential rains from Elaine. By Friday morning, more than 2 feet of rain had fallen in a 36-hour period on the Big Island's windward side, where the National Weather Service reported catastrophic flooding and wind gusts peaking at 67 miles per hour. And here is a slideshow where you can see some incoming waves. And empty shelves at the grocery store. And this is a flooded street next to a swelled up river in Hilo, Hawaii. And people standing around a flooded street next to a swelled up river in Hilo, Hawaii. And a gas station remained closed after running out of gas as Hurricane Elaine approached Honolulu. And you can see the gas pump closed. And once again, the wave coming up over the bridge. So a number of structures on the island of Hawaii, popularly known as the Big Island, were destroyed, and some residents were reported to be fleeing their homes, according to Melissa Dye, a Weather Service spokeswoman in Honolulu. And Civil Defense spokeswoman Kelly Wooten said fire department personnel had conducted several rescues on the island since Thursday, and no injuries or deaths have been reported. And this is great. Thank you so much. Rick Bulow just got a tweet for you guys of the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, which determines what category a hurricane is going to be according to its wind. So I'm going to share that with you guys so we can all learn together, for those of you that may not be aware. So the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale is a 1 to 5 rating based on a hurricane's sustained wind speed. The scale estimates potential property damage. Hurricanes reaching Category 3 and higher are considered major hurricanes because of their potential for significant loss of life and damage. Category 1 and 2 storms are still dangerous, however, and require preventative measures. In the western North Pacific, the term super typhoon is used for tropical cyclones with sustained winds exceeding 150 miles per hour. So if it's a Category 1 hurricane, it is traveling at 75 to 95 miles per hour, and it has very dangerous winds that will produce some damage. Well-constructed frame homes could have damage to roof, shingles, vinyl siding, and gutters. Large branches of trees will snap and shallowly rooted trees may be toppled. Extensive damage to power lines and poles likely will result in power outages that could last a few to several days. And if it's a Category 2 hurricane, it's moving at 96 to 110 miles per hour. Extremely dangerous winds will cause extensive damage. Well-constructed frame homes could sustain major roof and siding damage, and many shallowly rooted trees will be snapped or uprooted and block numerous roads. Near total power loss is expected with outages that could last several days to weeks. And if it's a Category 3 hurricane, it is considered major, so devastating damage will occur. Well-built framed homes may incur major damage or removal of roof decking and gable ends. Many trees will be snapped or uprooted, blocking numerous roads. Electricity and water will be unavailable for several days to weeks after the storm passes. Also, if it's a Category 4 hurricane, it's considered major, traveling at 130 to 156 miles per hour. So catastrophic damage will occur, and well-built framed homes can sustain severe damage with loss of most of the roof structure and some or some of the exterior walls, and most trees will be snapped or uprooted and power poles down. Fallen trees and power poles will isolate residential areas, and power outages will last weeks to possibly months. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks or months. And the last one, Category 5, considered a major hurricane if it's traveling at 157 miles per hour or higher. Catastrophic damage will occur. So a high percentage of framed homes will be destroyed with total roof failure and wall collapse. Fallen trees and power poles isolate residential areas, and power outages will last for weeks to possibly months. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks or months. So thank you so much, Rick Bulow, for sharing that with us. Really, really appreciate that. And I'm going to pull up our feed again so you can see the live radar. And over on Facebook, checking the comments right now. Let's see, Robert Forth said, my friend is there, said it's not too bad at all, yet he's right out of Pearl Harbor. Glad to hear that, Robert. And hey to Namish Sani and Clint Catalane, Sandra Brock, and Charlene Hill, and Deborah Hearn, Marion Listenby, and Myrna Velasquez. If you are still watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And love your comment there over on YouTube. Swoosh for Trump said RSBN quadruple Doppler radar. Yes, Swoosh, thank you for sharing that. And Catalina said aloha, Alyssa. Aloha, Catalina. Hope you are doing well. And if you are in Hawaii, please make sure to send over photos and videos of what you're seeing. Okay, and over on YouTube, I'm checking rain maps. Said visit rainymaps.com to see live rain status. I will check that. Thank you. So when we're looking at Hawaii, it is just saying light to moderate rain, which is interesting. So I'm going to switch back over to our feed. And I want to find some more statistics for you guys So stay tuned. So looking at the US Census.gov website, it says the Hawaii impacted population of Hurricane Lane is not available yet. So stay tuned for that. So I found some more information from Maui Now. So Hawaii Red Cross volunteers are supporting the following county evacuation centers across the state in response to Hurricane Lane. As of Thursday night, there were a total of 1,526 people across 36 shelters statewide. And I'm not going to go through each location with you guys where people are staying, but I will tell you the counties they're in. So they are in Hawaii County, 14 residents staying there in shelters. Maui County, County of Kauai, trying to learn to say it right. And the city and county of Honolulu, there are 1,114 residents staying there. So due to Hawaii's isolation and vulnerability, the Red Cross recommends that people prepare their emergency kits for 14 days and bring their emergency supplies with them to shelters. Airports and ports may be damaged by the storm and slow down the resupply process for local stores. So pets entering a pet-friendly shelter must be in a pet carrier or cage for safety, and owners must provide water and food for their pets and will be expected to assist in the care of their pets. So the Red Cross encourages everyone to be prepared before disasters strike. Get a disaster kit, make a plan, and be informed. Thank you so much. Rick Bigelow just sent me an update from weather.com, updated less than an hour ago. That Hurricane Lane will make its closest approach to Hawaii tonight and Saturday. Widespread flooding occurring with up to 40 inches of rain possible. And remember, they are 5 hours behind us here in Central Time. So Hurricane Lane will make its closest approach to Hawaii within the next 24 hours and will unleash torrential rain that may produce disastrous rainfall, flooding, and landslides over much of the island chain, including the Big Island, where widespread flooding is already occurring. In addition, battering surf, coastal flooding, and high winds will also be threats through Saturday. So this threat was summed up succinctly by Weather Channel hurricane expert Dr. Rick Knabb in a tweet Thursday night. And I want to find that tweet for you guys. I saw it on many different articles. 22 hours ago. I'm going to show you guys what he said. He said, in case anyone is celebrating the islands being outside the cone, consider all islands on stronger, wetter side the whole time. A track just southwest enhances waves surge onto south-facing shores. No change to risk of devastating floods and long-lasting power outages. Hashtag Elaine. So a hurricane warning still remains in effect for Maui County and Oahu, including Honolulu, meaning that hurricane conditions are expected within the warning area. So a tropical storm warning is in effect for the Big Island of Hawaii. And regarding Elaine's current position, this means tropical storm conditions are occurring. A tropical storm watch is also in effect for Kauai County, and this means tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area, and a watch is typically issued 48 hours before the onset of tropical storm force winds that may make preparations difficult or dangerous, according to Central Pacific Hurricane Center. So right now, the center of Elaine is about 115 miles west of the Big Island's Kona coast, or about 120 miles south of Honolulu, moving very slowly north-northeastward. And Elaine is experiencing a strong wind shear and the influence of mountainous terrain and gap winds between Maui and the island of Hawaii, and is currently a Category 1 hurricane. And Hurricane Elaine is now quickly weakening, but that does not lessen the flash flood and mudslide threat. So Elaine's outer rain bands continue to drench parts of the island, particularly the Big Island, where several locations have already picked up over 20 inches of rain. And Hakalau picked up more than 34 inches of total rainfall through 12 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And Hilo already picked up almost 20 inches of rain from early Wednesday morning to 8 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time Friday. This has resulted in more than 29.5 inches of rainfall for the month, setting a new record for the wettest August. So the heavy rain triggered road flooding on the Big Island, including in the city of Hilo. And landslides have occurred, blocking some roads. One road north of Hilo Thursday night was covered in up to 3 feet of water, and another road has suffered 14 different landslides near Hanamu on the north of the Big Island. So heavy rain has forced the closure of the island of Maui too, and the Filani Highway is closed near Kapau due to flooding, and Highway 20 is closed due to landslides. So rain bands will continue to gradually overspread the rest of the Hawaiian Islands as well ahead of Elaine, as far west as Kauai and Niauhau. So wind gusts over 30 miles per hour are being reported over much of the island chain, with some sporadic gusts. Let me see here, sorry. With some sporadic gusts over 50 miles per hour in higher terrain. So a brush fire in Lahaina that prompted evacuations was blamed on the storm's winds, where sustained winds over 30 miles per hour have been reported, with gusts over 55 miles per hour at times. And a second fire also developed just 4 hours away. So a recent wind gust of 49 miles per hour was reported in Lahaina early Friday afternoon. And the Oahu Forest National Wildlife Refuge wind gauge measured a 74 mile per hour wind gust Thursday night local time. However, the National Weather Service noted this is typically a very windy spot with significant downsloping even on days with light trade winds. and a remote automated weather station at Kohala Ranch, upslope from Kauai on the Big Island, reported a gust wind to 67 miles per hour late Thursday night local time. And Honolulu International Airport recorded a gust of 43 miles per hour Friday morning, and winds have continued to gust at 35 plus miles per hour since. So thank you so much, Rick Bulow, for sharing that with us. And I wanted to just take a moment real quick one more time to tell you guys, if you are not familiar with RSBN, how you can help support us. We are completely donor funded, and we actually travel to political rallies all around the country. And as you can imagine, they're very expensive, about $5,000 each time, with the crew that we send just for travel, you know, for driving, for the plane tickets, for food, and it's actually a couple $100s to keep that live view stream up as well. So, you know, it is very expensive, but you guys can help us get there. We go to President Trump rallies, we show the crowds, we get in the middle of the crowds, and it is a great time. So we really, you know, interview people and we hear their stories. And so you can actually donate by clicking the YouTube chat right here, the $sign at the bottom of the chat. You can donate right there, and it comes up in a bright color, and it's a lot of fun. I'll say your name, I'll read your message as long as it's appropriate, or you can donate over on our website, rsbnetwork.com, and that is also a great way to donate. So there are different ways on there. PayPal, we get to keep 90% of that. And then there's Patreon, where if you feel a little bit more invested with RSBN, you can donate. You get things in return too: hats, pens, pencils, stickers, t-shirts, fun things to remember RSBN and to remember to share us with your friends, of course. And so we're really thankful for all who watch over on YouTube. And we're really thankful for all that watch on all of our platforms and all who donate as well. And the last way to donate, of course, thank you so much to one of our moderators. Jan is sending the links right there. Another way you can donate, the last way, is by sending a check directly to RSBN. And I will pull up that address for you guys. And let me switch over so you can actually see it. Wow, thank you. Even one of our loyal viewers, British Patriot, commenting that address. And I love how you spelled check the British way. That's great. So you just write it out to RSBN, and it is 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys couldn't see that. But there it is. Yes, that's great. Swoosh for Trump says Opelika Road, the Tom O'Neill way. Tom does like to donate that way because he is more old-fashioned. I love you guys' comments about Tom. I love how you guys really know us. You know, we are a family here at RSBN, and we love and support each other. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for supporting. I think I'm going to wrap this up just because it is a Category 1 hurricane. Things are calming down a little bit. Also, we just got a $2 donation from Manning Luck. Thank you so much for that. And I want to give you guys one quick look back at the radar. Where you can really see the path of Hurricane Elaine. Okay, and I want to find as much information for you guys as I can. And thank you for your sweet comment, Manning Luck. who said, Alyssa, you are our rock. Really appreciate you. Want to make sure no one else has tweeted me with any links. And just got a message from one viewer, Emmy Tex, thank you so much, who sent me a link from EarthCam. I'm going to show you guys real quick. And I'm trying to see where in Hawaii this is. It looks like Wakalawa. And you can just see the dark skies and the surf coming up. Ocean doesn't look too bad. Okay, and I'm going to do another check of Twitter too, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, we're going to go back and check Twitter just to see what people are posting. Hopefully we'll get some of those verified sources. That's crazy. Steph Arthur commented action shot of kid body surfing in Hurricane Lane waves. So some people are still out braving the storm. And here's a video from Cheesy Cam. Two separate fires not far from Weston. Hashtag Maui. One fire may have been caused by a down power line from winds by Hurricane Lane. Air quality was pretty bad for a while and electricity was down for most of the day. So you can see the fire there at night. And during the day as well. And Governor David Ige said Hurricane Lane is expected to bring torrential rain to our islands, and that means many places will be flooded. Flooding brings many hazards, from electrical shock to unhealthy brown water to dangerous thriving conditions. After the floodwaters go down, mold is also a problem. And he posted a great infographic from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to learn how to protect yourself and your family during and after a hurricane. And I'm going to check Facebook one more time just to make sure you guys don't have any more comments there I missed. So Marina Cusco posted this: Hurricane Lane in Puna District on the island of Hawaii. You can see some flooding there. And it just looks like rain right here. And this is over on Oahu. And this is cute West Oahu weather update of Hurricane Lane with mini meteorologist. It is a little girl saying what's going on. I'll show you guys. So sweet. You could see how she was saying that the winds were picking up and they were still waiting for the hurricane. And an update, but I already shared this with you guys, from ABC 7 News. Hurricane Lane downgraded to a Category 1. And wow, thank you so much. We just received a $10 donation from Benemini Hannah. Hopefully I said that right. Who says, thanks for the coverage, RSBN. Of course, Benemini, thank you for watching and supporting. Really appreciate you. That'll help us get to our next rally next week, next Thursday in Evansville, Indiana. So stay tuned for that. This is a great tweet by Shane Crowder. He said, as we prepare for another long evening, I'd like to thank all the first responders in advance for your dedication and selfless commitment to keep our community safe. Mahalo. And Leslie Wilson tweeted out, current conditions near the Alawai Canal. No flooding yet, but winds are picking up and starting to get little bursts of showers. Hashtag Hurricane Lane. And this is from, if I can get back to it, got some more updates. Hold on. Wow, this is from Dr. Stephanie Yelnik. That is a GIF though. I don't think that that's actually Hurricane Lane footage. And then this is from James Sinco. Alert, new flash flood warning issued for portions of the eastern and southern Big Island of Hawaii till 6:30 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Heavy rain continuing in the Hamakawa and Kau districts. Avoid any unnecessary travel due to flooding threats. Head for safer ground. And you can see the region right here in Hawaii on the Big Island where they are expecting the flash flooding. And Michael tweeted out more high surf at Ahukuni Recreational Pier. And you can see just how high and crazy that surf was. And here is a loop of Hurricane Lane. So I'm trying to get back to the place I was. Don't want to repeat anything. Okay, so this is from Larry O'Connor. This was at 10:45 a.m. Hawaiian time in Oahu. And James Sinco tweeted out, but please, please, please pay attention to this. Flash flooding will still be a huge problem for many. Stay alert and treat things seriously. And this is cool, a projected radar from the Weather Channel. And this is from Ben Gutierrez 26 minutes ago. Lane is weakening rapidly and is now a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. It could be a tropical storm tonight. Don't let guard down yet with excessive rainfall, strong winds, and high surf still threats. So you can see it's color-coded different islands that are under a hurricane warning, tropical storm warning, or tropical storm watch. And I think I showed you guys, yes, I haven't showed you guys this yet. This is Rainbow Falls on the Big Island. So it's a picture on a good day and a screen capture with some new video from the Weather Channel. Wow, you can see the difference there. So crazy. Absolutely beautiful and completely flooded. Someone else responded, this was March of this year. So pretty. This is cool. It's from Michelle Broder Van Dyke. She said, here's a picture of one of the 2,000 rare Hawaiian snails that were transferred from a mountain marsh to offices in Honolulu as Hurricane Lane approaches. And you can see it's really tiny, just in its little shell on that leaf. And FEMA Region 9 tweeted out from the governor, who said, I really want to encourage the community to pay attention and listen to all the warnings given by the civil defense on each island. And I think I found an update. Here is a picture. Might have shared this with you guys earlier, but you can just see some debris falling. This is a Hawaii Department of Transportation photo on Oconee Pule Highway in Hawaii, taken yesterday. And they kind of break down, this is from BigIslandVideoNews.com. They kind of break down how different areas are affected. So for airports, it says Hilo Airport and Ellison Onizuka International Airport at Keauhou do not have any reported damages. And as for harbors, commercial harbors on Hawaii Island have been on Zulu from 11 a.m. Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. And harbor staff in the United Coast Guard were not able to conduct in water assessments at Hilo Harbor or Kauai Harbor due to visibility at first light. A water assessment was conducted at Hilo Harbor beginning at 11 a.m. Friday, August 24th, and results are being passed to the captain of the port. So as for highways, Bayfront Highway in Hilo remains closed due to flooding on the road. And Kohala Mountain Road opened as of 11:45 a.m. today. And as you saw from that picture, Oconee Pule Highway north of Hawaii was closed due to a landslide involving several 20 to 30 foot tall trees. The road was open, however, a second landslide blocked access at mile marker 25 at 8:50 a.m. And Highway 19 near Hanamu experienced more than 14 landslides, causing 4 complete road closures. And the road is currently closed at mile markers 3.5, 6, 15.54, 19, 21.76, and 28.5. And Saddle Road / Daniel K. Inouye Highway between mile markers 8.9 and 11.1 were closed due to water and debris crossing the road. The road was reopened to a single lane guided access as of 6:15 a.m. And the Hawaii Department of Health issued a statement today alerting the public to wastewater discharges as the Wailaku and Pua pump stations. The public is advised to remain out of the waters of Wailuku River and Hilo Bay due to wastewater discharges. And health officials said the spill status is ongoing and had no estimate as to the volume of discharged wastewater. And as a reminder, the DOH says the entire state of Hawaii is under a brown water advisory due to weather conditions from Hurricane Lane. So I think I'm going to wrap this up now, as it is a Category 1 hurricane, but of course there's still going to be a lot of damages, a lot of flooding going on. So make sure to stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for joining. Really appreciate you, each and every single one of you, your interaction. Thank you guys so much for the articles that you sent me. Shout out to Rick Bulow, Emitex, British Patriot, Jeff Hollifield, everyone that shared information with me tonight. Of course, all of our moderators over here in the chat room, all of our members, and the moderators on our website as well, Common Sense, Glenn O, and Reculp. You guys really keep things running smoothly. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Once again, I'm Alyssa Ashe. Appreciate each and every single one of you, and I hope you have a great night and a fantastic weekend. I'll see you soon.